Mid-Season 12 is a big patch. My name is KarQ. We have Role Queue Mystery Heroes, a World of Warcraft collab with their new skins, competitive drives, Twitch drops for this May skin by watching my stream at twitch.tv/KarQ for 10 hours. Yeah, 10 hours. I'll be live all week for 10 hours a day. But most importantly, we have patch changes. So let's start with that. Armor change first. The flat damage reduction is decreased from 10 to 7. The devs comment that the recent increase to armor's effectiveness improved the survivability of armored heroes more than we'd like for how passive it is, so we're tuning it down to a middle ground value. That's a big nerf to tanks who have a lot of armor. What's even more is that tanks' knockback resistance is reduced from 40% to 25%, so they can get pushed back a little bit more now. The devs comment that this knockback resistance value has changed a few times as the environment of the game shifts. With Juno entering the roster and bringing more sources of speed boost to help rush down the enemy team, we'd like to make tanks more susceptible to displacement again. Now on to heroes. D.Va. The mech armor health is going to be reduced from 375 to 325, and the mech base health, that's the white health, is going to be increased from 200 to 225. Now this next part is not a balance change, but a bug fix down here that's notable enough. They fixed an issue here with D.Va's boosters movement speed stacking multiplicatively with speed boosting abilities. When I recorded this, I definitely thought it was nerfed, but the side-by-side kind of shows a similar distance crossed, so I don't know. The devs comment that there has been a lot of community feedback surrounding D.Va lately. On average, she hasn't been overperforming, but she's quite difficult to take down. So we're shifting some of her armor to normal health and reducing her max combined health by 25 armor. With armor's effectiveness also being hit in the same patch, we'll keep an eye on how this plays out and adjust as necessary. For Orisa's Fortify, the movement speed penalty is going to be reduced from 20% to 10%, so she can move a little bit quicker with it. The devs comment that we still don't want Orisa to easily chase enemies down while fortified, since there's not much you can do to fight back during that time. So while we're not removing the movement speed penalty entirely, we're lowering it to a point where it'll feel much better for the Orisa player to use. For Roadhog, a small buff to take a breather, the resource regeneration rate is going to be increased from 8 to 10 per second. The devs comment that this is a reversion to Roadhog's previous resource regeneration rate to improve his primary tanking abilities uptime. There were several adjustments to reduce the power of this ability, but they may not have been necessary as Roadhog has been underperforming for quite some time now. For Sigma, the Hypersphere's impact damage is going to be reduced from 25 to 15, but the explosion damage is going to be increased from 30 to 40. Sigma also no longer deals damage to himself. Another bug fix here for Sigma this time, which is actually a buff where Gravitic Flux now ignores damage reduction abilities like Roadhog's and will always deal the 50% of max health. Devs comment that this shift in damage from the Hypersphere's direct impact into the explosion component is to improve the effectiveness of the airburst explosion around it when playing at max range, and it actually makes it more threatening against tightly grouped enemies. Yeah, I just want to add, you can't really see the damage difference, right? They take 10 from impact but add 10 to explosion, so if you're hitting them directly, you won't notice a thing, but in the AoE, you can clearly see it here with these damage numbers. For Bastion's configuration assault form, the spread is going to be reduced from 2.2 to 2 degrees. That's a buff. It means the spread is tighter. It means more bullets are concentrated in an area. More of them will hit where you aim. For configuration artillery, that's the ultimate, the cost is going to be reduced by 12%. The devs comment that the spread reduction is intended to improve the assault mode's weapon's effective range against smaller targets while not changing much in regard to how good it is against tank heroes and their large size. For Cassidy, the flashbang hinder duration is getting a nerf in its duration from 1.2 to 0.9 seconds, but the explosion damage is going to be increased from 45 to 75. Deadeye's ultimate cost is going to be reduced by 10% as well. That's a buff. The devs comment that we're reducing how impactful the hinder effect is by lowering its duration, as this crowd control can be a significant source of frustration for players. Since now there is less time to follow up with shots from the weapon while the opponent is hindered, we're increasing the explosion damage of flashbang. Okay, massive Hanzo changes here. The Stormbow normal arrows are no longer affected by the global projectile size increases from Season 9. That means they will be smaller, skinnier arrows. They're going to be harder to hit. That's a nerf. But the maximum damage now is going to be increased from 120 to 125, and that means if you headshot, it does 250, which means he can one-shot most heroes in the game once again. Now to compensate as well, the time to fully charge that arrow is going to be increased from 0.72 to 0.87 seconds. The devs comment that this change restores Hanzo's one-hit headshot kill against 250 health heroes, though it will require more accuracy with the smaller projectile size and is now slower to charge shots due to the frequency of projectiles being thrown out. After trying those recent iterations of Hanzo post Season 9, we feel the one-shot capability is too essential to the core gameplay feel of these sniper heroes, similar to Widowmaker, without a much larger rework. Being limited to a smaller range of heroes that could be one-shot, 225 HP and below, added some texture to the hero matchups, but it wasn't a satisfying compromise for either side. So there we go, that's where we've settled on this Hanzo patch. Let me know what you guys think. Venture, Explorer's Resolve passive, the shield health gain per ability is going to be reduced from 40 to 30. A nerf. Devs comment that as a highly mobile damage hero, Venture doesn't need quite as much shield health from their passive as they currently get to be successful. Even though they are a close range hero, their abilities enable them to close the gap quickly and effectively without taking much damage. For the supports, Moira's Coalescence damage per second is going to be increased from 70 to 85. The devs comment that Moira's ultimate didn't feel threatening enough after the health adjustments in Season 9 across the cast and her own lower health value. For Lifeweaver's Thorn Volley, the maximum ammo count is going to be increased from 80 to 100. The devs comment that the increased firing duration for Thorn Volley will give Lifeweaver more damage presence, and it lines up better with his auto-charging heal timing to help that flow nicely. Finally, for Zenyatta, some much-needed buffs. The Destruction Orb damage is going to be increased from 48 to 50, and Discord Orb's cooldown per target is going to be reduced from 7 to 6 seconds. The devs comment that with the current addition of more speed boosts in the game, Zenyatta and generally more poke-oriented team compositions by extension has fallen off a bit due to how immobile and vulnerable he can be. We tried to increase his health in the past, but it's proven problematic, so instead we're leaning into his glass cannon nature. We're improving his damage this time, which should enable new breakpoints in how many shots are required to eliminate an enemy. That's it for the balance changes. Onto the map updates. For Clash, the fast respawn after a point has been captured has been removed from Clash. We'll be looking to implement an alternate version of it for Clash in the future. In addition to Clash changes, the devs have made it so defenders get a reduction of 2 seconds for the respawn for each segment the attackers secure in the final capture zone to make it easier to retake. For the Flashpoint game mode, the initial boost of speed heroes receive when leaving the spawn has been increased in duration from 1 to 2 seconds, which is quite a nice good quality of life change. I've liked this change. And they've increased the maximum potential duration of the speed boost effect from 5 to 6 seconds. Very nice. All right, some other general updates. The Role Queue Mystery Heroes mode is here. It's a new variation of Mystery Heroes where they'll be using role queue rules. When you select your role, the heroes you play will be randomly selected among heroes in that role only and will not change roles throughout the match. This new mode is added to the unranked menu, and the Open Queue Mystery Heroes is removed instead from this menu. For Deathmatch is actually moved from this unranked menu to the arcade menu and will appear in a daily rotation with other Deathmatch modes. All right, for competitive updates, they're adding something called competitive drives. Competitive drives are these limited time events, or LTMs, that take place near the end of the seasons in competitive play role queue. As you complete a drive, you'll earn bonus competitive points and a new reward called signatures. Signatures are a cosmetic reward that appears on your name in most locations where your name is displayed, including your name card, play of the game highlights, scoreboard, and hero select. Signatures are upgraded as you reach different checkpoints in a drive. When you win a match, you'll earn drive score and progress towards the next checkpoint, and losing subtracts drive score, but generally less than winning. And checkpoints prevent you from losing your score once you reach them. There are 6 checkpoints and they grant the following rewards in order of completion: 500 competitive points, signature, 1000 competitive points, advanced signature, 1500 competitive points, and the elite signature. Your progression in a drive is shared across all roles in role queue. You do not earn progression towards your drive in open queue competitive play. When you complete drives, your signature will be upgraded to show off how many drives you completed in total, and the signatures are removed after a rank reset, which is every 6 months. So basically, this sounds like a retention strategy to incentivize players to play more at the end of the season, because in any live season model, like not only Overwatch, tons of players always check out a new season and then gradually stop playing once they've completed their battle pass or hit their goals or whatever, and then chill to the next season, like Valorant, Apex, whatever. This drive name card status incentivizes people to play more near the end and hopefully improve matchmaking times during that period, and then you get to earn that cool cosmetic reward, right? So I actually think it's a good idea. I just wish these name card cosmetics actually look really good. I just wish they were straight up available as a reward in general for playing the season, and then this drive event would maybe like give it a modifier or something. In any case, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And the final bit of news is their Xbox Game Pass promotion. If you have the Game Pass Ultimate or the PC Game Pass, make an account by October 21st and log in, and you get all these hero skins for free, and you get 30 mythic prisms, and you get access to prior season content with old cosmetics, which is pretty nice. There's a full article that they released, which I'll link in the description, and I think that's it for the season. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the patch.